What is going on, everybody? It is lunchtime. Lunch with the Clydesdale. What is going on, everybody? Oh, it has been a long week, and it's only Tuesday. That's it. We haven't even had lunch Cajun style yet this week, and it's already been a long week. Man, when Hiller shares your stuff, things blow up. Trying to keep up with everything. Man. So we're going to start today with a dart just to get things going. And hopefully I can be successful one time. Oh my goodness. I should have went back to bed. So, how is everybody today? Hope everybody's had a good weekend, good morning, good show yesterday, good show Sunday night, great show Sunday night. Dang. Man, I brought some energy on Sunday night that I didn't know I had, and I don't know if I can do it again. We'll have to see. Man, if you don't know, like Jamie and I would travel to events. We fight like brother and sister all the time. And Sunday night was like a flashback to all the times we fought on the road. And I love her to death. She is just an amazing person, one of my best friends in the world. But like we scrap like brother and sister. And Sunday night was that tenfold and was awesome. And I love when she gives it back to me. And we go at it. But there's been a lot of comments about what she said, what I said. And so people are like blaming me for what she said. And I'm like, hey, go yell at Jamie, not me. I'm on your side. So last night got my new Adidas trainers, drop set 3s. Going to give them a whirl today, see how they work out. I tried them on last night. They're a little bit snug, but the toe box is big. So my toe box had plenty of space, but they're a little tiny bit snugger all the way around. So I'm betting they'll loosen up a little bit after a couple workouts. But I'm really excited to try them out. So that's like the outside, and then the inside sole is like that. And so really like them. I wish they had cooler color waves for the men. The women's color waves are amazing. Like I would love that blue on a shoe. Like that blue where all of the gray is would be really awesome. But the men's colorways are just kind of meh. Anyway, I really love the women's colorways that they have out there. Just wish they had more selection for the men. So, what's up, Shay? Good to see you could be here live with us today. Yeah, Carolyn. I'm so glad that we put that together. When did we do that? Over a year ago now. And now we're really starting to groove. So the shoe is called a drop set 3. It's a drop set 3. It's Adidas CrossFit shoe. They sponsored the WFP this last weekend. So I'm assuming they have a drop set 2 and a drop set 1. This is their third iteration of the shoe. I tried it on last night. It's really comfortable. Really comfortable. It kind of has like that mid. So the top of the shoe is like this part is like the old Kevlar Reebok-ish kind of fabric. And then a lot of like this stuff. Whoop, here we go. Around the shoe to kind of keep it like solid. So I don't know. This is a great question. Why do we say colorway instead of colors now? I think colorway is referring, and please, I am not in the shoe industry. I do not know anything about the shoe industry. I think colorway is more of the overall theme of the shoe and not just a color or colors. But how the hell do I know? I don't know why it's colorway. Because and again, I don't know, but like when Reebok would come out with the color of a shoe, they would also come out with like shorts and shirts and stuff to match it. And so I think it implied over the entire outfit. But who knows? What would I compare the Drop Set 3 to? I don't know yet. I'm going to work out in them tonight. So I will give you tomorrow a better indication as to what. They're snugger than a Reebok, but the toe box is big. So I don't know. We'll see. It's like a painting palette. Corey says colorway refers to a specific combination of colors used in a design, product, or artwork. It typically indicates the color variations in which an item is available, such as different versions of a sneaker, a garment, or a piece of furniture. I think someone looked up a colorway on dictionary.com, according to the Google. So there we go. So I know most of you probably already know this. Okay, we're back still. Whenever you bring up shoes, it goes longer than you think. I wear Savage 1, but I've been looking at the Drop Set 3s. Honestly, I fell in love with the look of the Drop Set 3 at the games last year when Bethany and Haley were wearing them, and I really wanted to try them out ever since. I was waiting for a color that I liked. I almost went with the black gumshoe, but I've had so many pairs of like that I wanted something different. So that's why I went with these. But the problem is I have a big foot. So this is a size 13. And it looks like when I put it on, the toe looks long, like from here out, because my foot is just too big. If I was a size 10, these would look awesome. But that's what happens. You look at a shoe like on the shelf and it looks great in the size 10. And then you put on the size 13 and you're like, man, it looks like a clown shoe. But that's every shoe if you have like a size 13. I've hated every tier shoe I've put on my foot without even working out in it. The minute I put it on my foot, I'm like, no. So yeah, I'm not a tier guy. I like the Rad Runners, but they are a little bit small in the toe box. These seem a little bit bigger. But I've been a Reebok guy pretty much my whole CrossFit life. I had some Metcons. Those I have to take off as soon as the workout's over. Reeboks I can wear through a workout and keep them on after pretty easily. So I'm hoping, I think these are more like the Reebok, but we'll find out. We'll find out tonight. And Holly is old school innovate. Man, when I first started in 2011, everybody was wearing Innovates. So, but yeah, I'll try them tonight. I don't even know what the workout is tonight. I need to look, but I'll try to do some I'll try to do some jump rope. I'll try to do some things like where I'm bouncing in them to see how that is and some stuff like that, even on the side. Yeah, that they were running that deal, I think, kind of in conjunction with WFP, but don't quote me on that. All right. So penalties. This just came out a couple hours ago from Barbell Spin, so I'm going to share that first. He posted this 2 hours ago, and this is CrossFit Games 25 semifinal appeal form. The penalties reflected on the in-affiliate semifinal leaderboard yesterday are not final. The scoring adjustments were made prior to the appeals process. Athletes have 24 hours following notification from CrossFit to file an appeal. So there is still a possibility that an athlete score is reinstated or readjusted following that process. So yes, there were a lot of changes yesterday to the female leaderboard, and a lot of things that affected the top 11. But they are not final. Everybody has the ability to appeal that and get their scores reinstated or readjusted after that. So just sharing that so everybody knows everything is not final yet. Corey, I ain't gonna lie, those white gum drop set threes look fire. Yeah. Yeah, mine aren't the gum. White shoes just do not last long for me. So yeah. So let's look at the leaderboard, and we'll kind of point out the things that really shaped up the top 11, because that's all we're really concerned with at this point. So Saria Mea took the lead because of the penalties over Ariel Lowen. So she would be the winner if these remain final. Lowen drops from first to third. That moved Raptis up to second. Annika Greer moved up to fourth because Olivia Kerstetter got a penalty and moved out of the top 11. We have Danielle Brandon and Haley Adams tied at 6, Gracie Walton at 8, Amy Kringle at 9, who was out before the penalties, Miriam Von Rohr, who was out, Lucy McGonigal was out, moves into the top 11, but because these are not final yet and French Throwdown are final, she gets her ticket from the French Throwdown. So her 11 spot actually goes to Jennifer Muir, who is right there. And Caroline Stanley, who was in, is now the first person out. So, so who fell out of the top 11 was Brooke Wells. Her burpee count went from very high to 3. And she got penalized for the muscle up workout and the not facing the camera. From what we can gather, Caroline Stanley is out, probably because of the camera angle thing as well. And Olivia Kerstetter, the guess is because she pushed away on the top of the muscle up before establishing a full extension. So those 3 women are out. And you now have Amy Kringle, Miriam Von Rohr, and Jennifer Muir taking those 3 spots. So the penalties resulted in 3 people out, 3 people in, and there you have that. And you can see the penalties for Caroline and Olivia only dropped them down to 15th, but only 11 spots get in. So even though it wasn't super significant, it was significant enough to take them out of contention. So we were talking on Sunday night, will Olivia do TFX? Will Caroline do TFX? Well, now they better. Because it's either qualify through TFX or hope your appeal goes through. And then hope and pray you can get into NorCal and take on that large field, whatever it's going to be at the time. And then if we go to the men, it was still untouched when I looked just before we went on air, but we'll take a look, and it is still in the same position it was pretty much at the close of the competition, with Yonakoski being just outside looking in and tied with Chris Ibarra. So, so there we go. So I'm guessing we'll see some movement on the men's leaderboard either later today or tomorrow. But they do have, I think, till the end of the week to make final decisions on that. And again, as we talked off the top, They still have the appeal process available to them 24 hours after what's going on. And I just noticed I had the wrong backdrop up. What's funny is Savon was struggling this morning, and Jamie said, we don't struggle because we're professional. And here I am making the mess up today. I really should have the lunch with the Clydesdale background. There we go. Ken asks, I'm late today. How many rants are we? Ken, I'm still recovering from Sunday. I don't even know where all that came from. I think with taking care of my wife since her surgery, and I haven't been sleeping well because I have to keep my ringer on at night so that if she needs me, she can call me. And she's had to call me like every night during this recovery process. So I was on a low amount of sleep, and I just was so cranky Sunday night. But I was explaining at the top of the show, what was kind of cool is when Jamie and I travel together, we fight about CrossFit topics all the time, like slug it out left and right. And I'll admit, some of the times I just go with the other side of the argument just for the fun of fighting with Jamie. And so it was fun to do that kind of again on Sunday night. And I like when she comes right back at me. And it makes for great content. And I hope that we can continue that on, that there are topics that we can do that with moving forward. I don't want to be just the crazy old man down the street yelling at the clouds, but as long as there's something that I'm passionate about, I will rant about anything like that. Sound like what my wife and kids do to me. They know what buttons to push. Yeah. I think Jamie knows what buttons to push on me. I know what buttons I can push on her. And we spent a lot of time on the road together, like brother and sister. And we used to scrap all the time. And it's so much fun. So much fun. That's why we love sports, right? Because it gives us something to talk about, something to argue about, something to yell about, something to rant and riff about. So, the other thing I was going to say is, yeah, Bearded Scott lets it all out. Yeah. I just start pulling the hairs, Kenneth, and then it gets me in the mood. And then, my mom said to me last night, like, give another month, man, you could play Santa Claus. And I'm like, damn, like, isn't there a sexier person with a white beard than Santa Claus? Like, come on. Too young to be Santa yet. I wanted to show one more thing, and then, so I wanted to kind of point this out. And we'll go to the men, and I'm not picking on Dallin. I just know that this is a good example. So in this workout, and I've talked about this, right? Look how far away from the camera his GHD is. If I am judging this video, the minute I see the GHD machine this far away from the camera, and I would love to get Andrew's feedback on this as well. The minute I see the GHD this far away from the camera, that means I'm looking closer. The minute I see this, to me, it means you're trying to hide something. If you're putting and Proven with all of their videos did things like this to hide elements behind the rig and different things like that. And I'm so glad they got dinged for some of that stuff. Because if you're trying to hide something, that means I'm going to look closer. Because you must be afraid that your movement is on the line and you don't want me to see the line. And because they're not using the Motorola RZRs to video anymore, circa Brooke Wells 2016, now we're just moving the camera so far away. And I think the other day when we were looking at this, like there's no need for it. Andrew made a great point. They're not crossing a line with the lunges. So let me back this up a little bit. Right? They're not crossing a line with the lunges. It's a step count. So there's no line that I need to see up here. And I can have Dallin in frame fully and move that camera ahead pretty much 10, maybe 10 feet. And again, it's even better if they move the camera on the other side of the GHD and then show the lunges at a little bit more distance, because there's no line I have to check. All I have to do is see knee touch and are they overhead not touching the dumbbell. To me, when you're putting it that far away, you're hiding something. And Andrew Sten says, absolutely. While the suggested floor plan had this set up, I think they still set the camera too far back. Agreed. Jonathan Ortega says, is that the case though? I don't think athletes go and say, I suck at a movement. How do I hide it? I think they know the movements they're going to ride the line on. I don't think they suck. I think they know which movements you're going to ride the line on, and they do try to hide it. And it's been part of the space for a very long time. And I'm not picking on Dallin. Maybe Dallin didn't do that, but I do know that it's happened in the past. I just know that this example, I looked at this video, so I knew that the GHD machine was far away. And so if I fast forward this to where he's doing the GHD, for me to see the hip at the top, I can kind of tell, but there are times where he slides forward just a little bit, and it's hard to judge at this distance. So I don't know. It's just really, really far away. But again, I'm not picking on Dallin. Andrew Sten says, 100% disagree, Jonathan. Many athletes play the game with video, like wearing all black for squats, which has been called out many, many times. Yeah. And I don't even think Dallin was the most egregious at what was happening during the semifinals. So I hate that I used his video, but I just knew that it was far away. And so I was just using it as an example. Jonathan says, riding the line on movements is the name of the game. Right. And if I'm a judge and I see that you've moved the camera that far away from the part where you're riding the line, I'm going to look closer. That's what I'm just telling you. Shay says, but let's do more online comps. I know. I hate online comps. Dave Castro actually announced that the Masters might get an opportunity to do in-person semis, but I'm going to save that topic for tomorrow with Corey, as he is elated over that discussion or that announcement. And so I want to have that conversation with him tomorrow for sure. So, there's that. I know many of you, probably all of you have seen the video that Hiller shared, a clip from Sunday night about me being reached out to by a prominent person in the space, accusing me of groupthink. I did want to follow that up with, I did get a call yesterday with a sort of an apology on that. And so what I want to say about it is, they came to the table with, they wanted to explain themselves. And what I told them is, I have been in this space since 2019. I have built a reputation where I don't just bash on athletes. I don't name names. I don't do that. I'm respectful because I do a lot of interviews and I want them to feel free to talk to me in an open and honest way, and that I'm not going to use that against them in the future. And so I've built this reputation that I felt like I should be given the benefit of the doubt whenever I make a statement. And they did not afford me that at all. I posted that out and you immediately accused me of groupthink and joining the herd and all of this stuff. And when I came back to you and said, haven't I earned more than this? They doubled down on that to me. And so for that all to happen, and then so during our phone call, an apology was given, and and I think that our relationship has been reestablished, and we've come to a pretty good understanding. And so I just wanted to follow up um, with that because it was a good conversation after we both kind of said our piece, and they did agree that I should have been afforded the benefit of the doubt on the first when I posted the picture of the pyramid doing the GHD sit up, that I should have been afforded the benefit of the doubt that I was doing it for good reasons and not to just bash people. So so it was a good conversation. I did get an apology through that, and I think our relationship is cool again, and we'll continue to move forward in the space. And that's the last I need to talk about that. Patrick Clark, you're not just respectful, you are respected by athletes, peers, coaches, etc. I hope to. I mean, that's really my goal. I'm not doing this to hurt people. I love the people I cover. And I want to show them in the best light possible. Ortega says it's okay to be upset. It's okay to have feelings about it. Just accept it and move on, or fight it and get told no and then move on. So, yeah. And I think that's where we're at. We had it out. We talked it through. And nobody was yelling at each other yesterday. It just was a good conversation. And yeah, I think we're all in a good place now, and we'll just move forward like nothing ever happened, I guess. But yeah, so that's happening. True. And then I got, so on Sunday night, I tried to explain what I think the payout structure is with WFP. And it's based on things I heard from Will and Jackson in different interviews. And it was my understanding that the contract that they give to the athletes is a minimum. This is a minimum guaranteed amount of money that you are going to earn this year. Then through the course of the year, you're going to earn money at the events through prize money. And so you offset your contract with the prize money until your prize money goes over that guaranteed minimum, and then you start making more money. And I explained that on Sunday night, and it's been clipped and it's been used in a couple different areas. And I hope that I'm right. It's just my interpretation of what I've heard in different interviews with them. And it makes sense to me because when you're giving these guaranteed contracts, it's not like giving them money to come here. It's to say, at the very least, you are going to make this dollar amount throughout the year. And then if you earn more than that over top of what the guaranteed minimum is, then you get that on top of everything else. I know Savon tried to ask Austin about that, and he didn't really even care what anything of that was. He's just going to collect the check at the end of the year, is kind of what he said. So I hope I got it right, since it's being clipped and used. And again, the WFP has said that they're going to get me one of the people from WFP on the show this week or next week. And I will ask and confirm all of that when I have them on, to make sure that I have that accurately. Jonathan Ortega says, Scott, your hair looks real good. Thanks, man. It's just really long. And with my wife recovering from knee surgery, I can't get out to get it cut. So here we are. And maybe I'll just keep it like this for a while. Ken Walters, it's like in sales, it's a draw against commission. Yeah. I think that's the best way to put it. But what I find funny is math has always come pretty easy to me, but when I watch people try to do math that it's not easy for them, I think it's pretty comical trying to do that in their head. I find it amusing a little bit, just saying. The last thing I'm going to talk about today is because we talk about some entertainment stuff. One of the shows that I've found very entertaining on TV is the show Found. If you've never seen it, it is a woman who was abducted as a child. She finds her abductor late in life, and she holds him captive in the basement of her house in kind of like a revenge thing. And then her job has been to find missing children in her adult life. And then what she finds out through the first season of the show is that this guy she has locked up in her basement can actually help her find some of these children because he thinks like the child abductors that are out there today. And he can identify the reasons behind why they're doing this, and it helps her to find these children. I really enjoy the show a lot, and I think the second season is even better than the first. Once they got past some weirdness at the beginning of the season, but they do capture this guy and they lock him up. And so it makes it hard. I was wondering where they're going to go with it, but they have found enough content to keep it going. But then it got canceled. So NBC cancels it, and they canceled like 5 shows. And this is where I really wanted to go with it. The traditional networks, like I'm 55. If you wanted to watch a show in most of my adult life, you had watched it on ABC, NBC, CBS, or Fox. And when I was a kid, Fox didn't even exist. So you had to watch it in those traditional manners. Now you see these networks like canceling all these mainstream shows, scripted shows, and they're saying that the cost of running them and paying the actors and everybody behind it is getting too much. So NBC has canceled 5 shows, and they're not really bringing anything new in other than the NBA. And so my question to you is, are we going to use these traditional networks now as live action sports like the NFL, hockey, NBA, taking up college football, taking up most of the primetime schedule? Because like NBC now is going to have Tuesday night NBA basketball. They're going to have Saturday night college football. They're going to have Sunday night NFL football. And those are 3 of the 7 primetime nights. And they're being taken up by live sports. And then it's going to be accentuated with non-scripted TV. Like Jimmy Fallon has a new show it's Apprentice-like, but in the marketing world. And it's going to be unscripted, and it's a contest for people that are going to win. They're bringing back old classic game shows like Family Feud, $25,000 Pyramid, Wheel of Fortune primetime. Jeopardy now runs a primetime hour. All of that stuff that's unscripted and much cheaper to run. My question to you is that going to be our television on the main networks because they've given up to the streaming services who are producing better content like Yellowstone and Landman and The Last of Us and I can go on and on and on. And all of those are on streaming services rather than on the traditional networks. They're the ones winning the awards. They're the ones getting the higher ratings. It's just like this big epic shift in my life from growing up with CBS, NBC, ABC, and now we're going to all the good content is going to be on Netflix, Max, Apple Plus, all of that. And then the traditional networks are going to be all live sports and all unscripted TV. Ken Walter says sports bring in billion-dollar contracts to networks. The new shows they have to pay out to actors, streaming services fund the cost through subscriptions. Yeah, I don't disagree. But it's just, and Ken, you're in my age bracket. Like when we grew up, all of the good scripted TV was on the main networks. And now it's going to these streaming services. And I love live sports. So I'm cool with like having a Saturday night football game and having a Sunday night football game. Now I'm not as big of an NBA fan. So, but I have other options. So I can watch things there. The only thing that bums me out is I also grew up with like a show season that was like 20 to 23 episodes. And now like all of the big shows are like 10 episodes, 8 episodes. So your season's like super short. And if you binge it, like you're done and it's over. Come on, Ken. You may be chronologically a little bit older than me, but like physically and mentally, man, you're right. You're right here in our wheelhouse. But yes, it's just weird. It's just weird that there's this like seismic shift all of a sudden where like these networks are canceling shows that are getting good ratings because just because they can do it cheaper other ways is just mind-boggling to me. So it was just an observation I made as I'm kind of looking at the news and different things going on in entertainment. But yeah. So, and then yesterday I talked about the movie Love Hurts, which is old school Jackie Chan kung fu movie. It's actually free on Peacock now. So you can stream it on Peacock if you have that. Again, my wife hated it, so I'm not giving you like a full-on recommendation of that movie. My wife hated it. I like the nostalgic Jackie Chan kung fu part of it. I love the athleticism in that aspect of everything and the funny ways that if you ever watch that kind of stuff like earlier on in your life, I think you'll enjoy it. So, but that's really all I have today. I'm sure we're going to get some men's shifts on the leaderboard either today or tomorrow, and we'll go ahead and talk about those. And again, we can talk about Dave's week in review tomorrow as well with Corey because he did make an announcement that's pretty cool about what's happening in the age groups, getting their opportunity to qualify for the games with in-person semifinals. And I know Corey wants to talk about that badly. So he'll be on tomorrow, cooking Cajun with him. And with that, guys, I need to get back to work today because my coworkers are out. So I'm getting all of their stuff as well today. So I got to get back to work. So you knuckleheads get back to work as well. We'll see everybody next time on Lunch with the Clydesdale. Bye, guys.